Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
All right, so what's good, everyone? Let's talk about the most marketable athlete today. No, it isn't Steph Curry. No, it isn't Angel Reese. No, it isn't Audra Wilson. No, it's not Breonna Stewart. No, it's not Ant-Man. No, it's not Jason Tatum. No, it's not none of them. It is Caitlin Clark. See, these are the things that we have to take notice of, because the fact of the matter is that Caitlin Clark has been named the fourth most marketable athlete today. It goes to show you why. Because Sports Pro put out a tweet yesterday, showing the graphic of who made the list. Now, you probably want to know who all made the list, but before I tell you, I'd rather show you. There's three in that top 10. There's only three Americans: Simone Biles, LeBron James, and Caitlin Clark. Most of the other ones is soccer players and different athletes. That goes to show you and as much as we don't like LeBron James, some of us don't like LeBron James, but you can't deny his marketability to the game. We've seen it with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. We've seen it with Kobe Bryant. We've seen it with Michael Jordan when he came on the scene. Hell, we've seen it with Allen Iverson. When you are an athlete that is marketable, three things is going to happen. First, you're going to get endorsements, more endorsements. Plus, you're going to get more attention. Plus, you're going to be able to open doors and do things that other athletes can't do. Simone Biles tops this list for the second time in 2 years. But that's not even the key issue to that. It's because she's Black. Now, we had one person say that Black women don't get the attention, don't get the marketability that they need because, quote unquote, some white athletes such as Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, or even Kelsey Plum have white privilege. These words came out the mouth of Audra Wilson, whatever you want to call her. She quoted say the reason why Caitlin was able to get that Nike deal, why Caitlin was able to get that Gatorade deal, why Caitlin was able to get that State Farm deal, because of her quote unquote white privilege. And she said it bores her deep inside because Black women struggle. Well, hell, let's go back and think about this. Didn't Serena and Venus Williams was marketable in the sport they was in? Yes. And they opened doors for other Black tennis players? Yes. So when you, and I said this many times in my videos, y'all can always go back and check my videos. When you has a gender, you whine, complain, pout, try to have some kind of woke agenda or some kind of political agenda, people don't want to deal with you. They want to deal with you. As much as LeBron James toasts the fence, he's still marketable. But guess what? He's in a marketable city too, LA. He was marketable when he was in Cleveland. He was marketable when he was in Miami. He was marketable now that he's in LA. And now that he got his son there, more attention. As despite LeBron toting the fence both sides, he's still marketable. He's the top 3 up there. Simone Biles, a black woman, been on this list twice, but Audra Wilson failed to recognize that. She fails to point that out because she wants to highlight the racist category around black women, that black women don't get a fair shake in everything. You can't cry for anything because you fail to be likable. People want likability. All of these athletes that I just shown you up there are likable. They want to be able to reach you. They want to be able to speak to you. They want to hear from you. They don't want to hear you pout. They don't want to hear you go on some Wall Street Journal magazine and big up Angel Reese. As much as Angel Reese gets her little endorsements and her little deals here, she's not marketable. You know why? Because her attitude stinks. When you have a stinking ass attitude, this is what happens. You look at how desperate the Unrivaled League is to get Caitlin Clark. Hell, Front Office Sports just reported a few minutes ago saying that Caitlin Clark could get a messy type deal when NSL soccer approach Messi to get him a TV revenue deal. All sales revenue from TV and merchandise deals. It could be the same way, and she could get paid top money just to come into a rival, because the fact of the matter is they want her. They need her because of her marketability. This is what we was trying to get the WNBA to do. This is what we was trying to get the Olympics to do. Put Caitlin Clark on the Olympics. You didn't even have to pay her. The marketability of Caitlin Clark would have skyrocketed the Olympics. People would have turned in. You would have had probably 10,000 more of viewers than you ever had in the Olympics, despite the shit show that it was with the woke agenda that they portrayed at the Olympics. Caitlin Clark would have surpassed all of that. She would have, everything about that would have been just went out the way. But guess what? The women's U.S. Basketball team was unwatchable. Nobody didn't tune in. They didn't even have fans because you kept off the number one person that could have bring more attention to you. Look all the attention she brought to the WNBA. Despite Cheryl Reeve's comments early on, despite Diana Taurasi's comments early on, despite everybody giving her their best shot, and she continues to stand. But guess what? She's coming attraction. She's like a new movie that's getting ready to come out, coming to your city, coming worldwide. Caitlin got people from Ghana. She got people from India that's liking her. She got little black girls over there in Africa wearing her Caitlin Clark 22 Iowa jerseys. So when you talk about global icon, because I did a video, you could go back and check about her being a global international superstar. This is what it's about. This is not about being whiny, complaining, and oh, poor me, why they don't look at me? You cry, Asia Wilson cried so much to where the Nike had to been forced to advertise her. Soon as Caitlin Clark got that $28 million deal for Nike, Wilson came out with her negativity, crying, whining. Nike had to promote her, push her shoe. And the first thing they say, oh, well, her shoe was already coming out. It's already been in the works. If Caitlin Clark didn't come to the league, would her shoe actually came out this year? Would it have been a push for that? No, it wouldn't. Commercial? No, it wouldn't. If you think about it, as Asia Wilson think that she's supposed to be the face of the league when she's really not the face of the league, because the face of the league is Caitlin Clark. Watch when Caitlin Clark's second year takes off, how booming it's going to be. Because now you got Cathy, Engelbert, brain dead. Shout out to Ben Daniels on that. Starting to realize the marketability. Hell, Cheryl Reeve just ended her press conference and talked about Caitlin Clark. This ain't the second time she talked about her. After she was talking about Caitlin Clark early on, talk about she don't give two S's, about Caitlin Clark, and then turn around and double down saying, oh, well, I wish I had Caitlin Clark on my team. Yeah, everybody in the WNBA wish they had Caitlin Clark on their team. But unfortunately, Caitlin Clark is not on your team. But she's bringing more attention to your league than ever before. Look what it did. I mean, it's so sad that they had to pump up ratings numbers just to make it look good, and they still didn't beat none of Caitlin regular season records today. That's how phenomenal she is. That's what Caitlin Clark does. See, instead of sitting here cry racism, sitting here crying about the Indiana Fever fans are racist and stuff like that, Caitlin Clark continues to go about her business and do what she did. She just did a Nike meeting summit with Sue Bird on the panel, and Monica McNutt was on the panel with her. And she was talking about the WNBA and everything like that, and how she didn't like the scheduling because she wants to play more golf in the summer more or less than in the wintertime. Now, her comments could spark a whole different debate whether the NBA should shift the WNBA should shift their scheduling around the time the NBA could be done. You could do it in a mid-season format, like start the season in November instead of October when the NBA season kick off, because the NBA doesn't get good until after the All-Star break anyway. So therefore, you can have your All-Star break after their All-Star break around March. Your season could end in July instead of when the NBA finals ends in June. Yours could end in July. So you can have a stretch of month where it goes that way like that. So, or you can start your season, and you got 44 games coming up. You can start your season in November, end it around March or May. Have your playoff season around that time. It is all marketability. You can do it if you wanted to, but it just goes to show how Caitlin Clark thinks. You think about this. NASCAR put her on the cover of their car this year. Panini they promoted NASCAR, put her picture on their car this year. She was at a Yankees game this year. She was at an Indianapolis Colts game this year. Same thing like Simone Biles. She shows up at Green Bay Packers game for her man. She actually came to an Indiana Fever game this year with one of her Olympic partners and took pictures with the Indiana Fever. That's GOAT shit right there, folks. See, while Angel Reese them running around trying to be in every limelight, being on Wild and Out, or being at the NBA Finals, taking pictures with Teresa Fire Weatherspoon, you know, Caitlin Clark out here making boss moves. See, all of these other little things that Angel Reese doing, that's all fine and good. But when you top 4 in the world and athlete in the world in marketability, ain't nobody can mess with you. Nobody can mess with you on that level. So maybe they all need to take notes from Caitlin Clark on how to be more likable, how to be more approachable, and leave all that woke gender stuff, and kind of like make sense in your comments when you talk about certain things, you know, or certain rhetoric that you have, you know, you dealing with, because Asia Wilson is going to continue to hurt her brand with her racist talk, her bigotry talk, you know, because the fact of the matter is she's crying the poor girl why me syndrome, when you already was privileged, when you went to a good school, you know, a private school, when you was growing up. People already know this. So you already got the accolades in the league, but guess what? You don't have the marketability factor because you're non-approachable. Nobody wants to approach you. Some people deal with you. Some people, it's like a parent raising a kid. And sometimes you see parents tell the kid no, and the kid stop throwing a temper tantrum over and over and over and over again. Especially when you take a kid to a grocery store and the kid continues to cry. And guess what the parent does? Give the kid what they want just to keep the kid to shut up. That's Asia Wilson. She's a big kid, continues to cry, pout, and moan, and the power, some of the powers that be say, you know what, hey, let's give her this so she can shut up. But that race card, that bigotry card that Asia Wilson playing, it's not gonna last for long. It's not gonna last for long. You see how Juju, a black young lady, is getting endorsements, getting deals done, and she's a hellified basketball player. But Asia Wilson don't even talk about that. She wants to continue to focus on white privilege. See, as Ben Daniels would always say in his videos, you have to continue to call a spade a spade. One of my favorite lines from Transformers, from Megatron, he always would say, incompetence breed incompetence. And it's the competence of these women in the WNBA that continue to show why people don't want to deal with them. Why people look at them as unlikable and unwatchable. When you got excitement players like Caitlin Clark or Enrique Umagwale, you got, you know, other players. But you don't want to watch a boring player and then get in the media and stop crying and have an attitude and trying to walk like a purpose at every game, t-shirts and sweatpants, like you about business. You're just doing a show for a camera. So people could just say, oh, well, she mean business. They tweet this out. They comment about this. Let's stop the foolishness, people. Let's stop the foolishness. All right, so I'm moving on to another story. Now, we are, like I said, Cheryl Reeve talked about, you know, Caitlin Clark in the beginning. And she has for what I have said, she has, the last few times, she has talked very highly of Caitlin Clark. And she acknowledged Just like Nafisa Carter, she acknowledged what Caitlin Clark brought to the table. They know what Caitlin Clark brings to the table. They didn't want to acknowledge it at first, but now they don't have no choice but to acknowledge it because Caitlin Clark is not going nowhere. That's the thing about it. But I want y'all to check out what Cheryl Reeve had to say after her press conference, and then I'm going to chime back in.
The evolution of the league into the space that it got into in terms of the popularity, even before the season started, you know, when Caitlin Clark announced that she was going to enter the draft, I remember, obviously I'm connected to the business side, and the wave of enthusiasm that came from a player that wasn't even going to play for the Lynx. And, you know, we certainly knew some of the other players that were going to be in this draft. So there was a lot of excitement and momentum for the WNBA, but to see it actually translating business-wise across the league, whatever the reasons were, there's a lot of, as we all know, there's one really big reason, and then there's a lot of other reasons why. And I think the movement that we're in now, I think it's exciting. I think that for me, one of my biggest takeaways from this season is what you just said, with a number of times that I heard fans talking about being in bars, in the Twin Cities, and maybe not accustomed to the game, their willingness to put a game on, because that's a battle when we try to watch women's sports. When we go into just a bar, it's hard to find it, or even a willingness to put it on. To learn the frequency with which the games were on, sound on, people gathering together, having watch parties, as the season moved on, and we were, achieving the success that we were achieving, especially in the playoffs. The way the city supported us in terms of, signage, throughout the city. And unfortunately, no, the other teams didn't have that. They didn't. And that's a travesty when you think about it. And Jim Pete always said it. Man, people have no idea what they're missing. And we're going to look back on this and go, how in the heck? But it happened in the NBA too. There's some great players that were playing in front of 2,000 people back in the NBA, back in the day. And so for me, that was a big thing, a part of the identity of the season for the Minnesota Lynx was, as we know, business-wise, one of the best years that we've ever had. But then also support-wise from the community, throughout the community, whether it was in arena or anywhere we went. The interest in the team and the buzz, was palpable. So that's part of what made it special too. Sorry we couldn't get a chance to celebrate one more time together with a parade. We were looking forward to that opportunity. But hopefully, fans know how we felt about them and how much we appreciated, because they were a big part of our success.
All right, so you heard what Cheryl Reeves had to say. She recognized the impact that Caitlin Clark brought to the league this year. Now, like I said, in the beginning, they didn't think that. They just thought that, hey, she was going to be another flash in the pan type of player. But they saw the magnitude that Caitlin Clark bring. And like a lot of us had already commented before, that the league wasn't prepared for this. The league wasn't ready for what Caitlin Clark was able to bring to the league. The league had to adjust to Caitlin Clark, as well as Caitlin Clark had to adjust to the league throughout the season. Like I said early on in this video, the league missed out on a lot of marketing opportunities for Caitlin Clark, especially when it came down promoting her for Player of the Week, Player of the Month, even Rookie of the Year. Cathy Engelbert did not even give this girl her award like she gave out to Fee, Aja Wilson. She was there to give out the WNBA championship trophy and the Commissioner's Cup. She didn't even make it to Caitlin Clark when they was in Connecticut. You was there in Connecticut to give Dejanay Carrington her trophy. Why you couldn't give Caitlin Clark her trophy there too? Regardless, they was on the road. That's bad marketing for your top player. for your top player in the league, that's bad marketing. That just goes to show how afraid you are of her stardom. And you shouldn't be. Because let me tell you, we all talked about this many times before. I said it again. You look at Roger Goodell in the NFL, he ain't afraid of marketing at all, because he's going to do above and beyond to grow the game, to make NFL games longer, cut out preseason, have teams play over London, Mexico, wherever, Australia, wherever they could get a game at. Same thing with David Stern when he was in the NBA. He knew how to market. He brought more international players into the league. Now you see a slew of international players play in the NBA right now. As boring as people think Joker is, he is one of the most sound fundamental guys that I have seen since Tim Duncan, that know how to rebound, pass, score, and everything else. And he run the floor fairly well, not well enough, but fairly well. And he's an NBA champion, and he's an MVP, two-time MVP in the league. I'm telling you this to say that Cheryl Reeve ain't dumb, not by a long shot. We might not like her for other reasons, but she's a great coach, and she's well aware of the impact that Caitlin Clark has bring. Like I said, she denied it before, but sometimes you got to get hit over the head with a frying pan a couple of times to knock some sense into you. And she realized what Caitlin Clark has bring, because guess what? They are talking about the league in bars. They are talking about the league more on podcasts and YouTubers. They are talking about WNBA basketballs at jobs, at barbershops. So all of this is because the Caitlin Clark effect, not the Angel Reese effect, not the Audra Wilson effect, not the Forrest Gump effect, not the Tickle Me Elmo effect. It's the Caitlin Clark effect, guys. You know what I'm saying? Until the league catch up to Caitlin Clark is already miles and miles away. Like I said, she got Unrivaled knocking down her door, because they know they playing on a sound stage down in Miami. They only have 1,500 people to see. They want to move to something bigger because they know for a fact Caitlin Clark is going to bring that kind of draw. They were trying to full court press her, throw everything at her. Now, whether Caitlin does it or not, if she does it, there's going to be more jealousy to come with it, because guess what? Ain't none of them players in the league. Because guess what? When Audra Wilson decided to join Unrivaled next year, she's not going to command all of that. She's not. Like I told y'all, you ain't the face of the league. Caitlin Clark is. And you're not likable, and you're not marketable. It's just the way it is. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think about Caitlin Clark stardom to being the top 4 marketable athlete in sports right now. And guess what? And that's in the WNBA and women's basketball. Women's basketball, college and pro. Think about that. Why everybody's sitting here say Juju, why everybody's sitting here say Paige, they got their own thing going on. They're great in their own right. But it's what it is, people. It's what it is. Let's say it with me on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. It's the Caitlin Clark effect. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell anytime I drop a hardcore video. And you always know what I said at the end. You know what it is.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats, you know that we gotta run it back. Whether on the field or the court, you know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.